colleagues and friends would take a much better shape as we move along. And one of the things which I thought the students should learn is time management, which we have generally stuck to, and today we are late by 5 minutes, which normally should not happen, but that's how it is. So I thought I will start the ball rolling, and so that there is enough crowd during the star sessions which will follow me, and that is why I thought this is something which will be a mixed talk. There will be an overlap with the next subsequent talks also, and I would seek the pardon of the next speakers. But the whole idea is to set the ball rolling, is a bit motivational too, to tell you that if you need not be something extraordinarily great, and yet you will become one at the end of it if you follow certain, what shall we say, moral, ethical, educational, the EQ, SQ, all those quotients, if they are in place, it will be. So let me begin my talk, and I will try to finish in the next 25 minutes. One destination, different roads, that's the name, but what it tells you is that ultimately every one of y'all is looking for happiness, and all roads eventually lead to happiness, and which is what your main plan will be. And I'm sure abhi DM, DNB ke baad most people have this feeling, you know, abhi mera time aayega, which does come. But the normal traditional path is immediately after procuring your DM or DNB degree, the usual way forward is to first complete your bond, which was not there during our time, but this is there in many of you. Find a job, do some fellowship, plan to go abroad, and working as an SR is somehow the commonest, and this I've seen more in South also. In your own teaching institute, it appeals because it gives you that hands-on experience which you have missed during the theory, and of course completes your bond. But yes, some souls will go into private practice alone or with a senior, and going back to your hometown is one of the strategies many people take, and especially if you have a family setup, nothing like it which you straight away do it. But eventually, a lot of you all will pick up a specialized field, and this is what we as seniors would probably tell you, that if it's possible, try and become an expert. And you have seen so many people who are seniors and mentors today. They have picked up some field. Interventional nephrology, we have Girish Reddy, Valentin, Hemant Mehta. PD, we have Arup, who is there in the audience, Amit. We have Georgie Abraham and Nayak and so many. Immunology and transplant, Shruti, Bharat, Ajay Kher, they have chosen this subspecialty. We have CRRT and AKI, Rajshekhar. Similarly, we have primary researchers who have given a lot for their time in research. And we'll come to some people who are in industry, and some people write medical books and so on. So the field is open, and there are many other career options which Vijay will probably take into it. I have already asked for his pardon to enter into his speech, but I thought there are some who are entrepreneurs, some who are hospital administrators, a pharmaceutical career, and I was surprised to know that there are people who are medical educator, including NEET PG and NEET SS. This I'm talking about nephrologists, please. And then this new field of social media influencer. So these entrepreneurs, we have some of them sitting in the audience. Mukesh is there, Vilas is there, Ajay is there. They have actually taken up from clinical practice to entrepreneurship and have done it successfully, which again tells you that that is another area which one can actually go into. Dr. Ballal, of course, he had it in the family. So Dr. P.M. Uttap, I don't know how many people are aware, is the group CEO of Narayan Rudale. Vincent Lloyd, all of you all have heard his talk on machines, and he's right now heading or part of the African Dialysis Network, our own research scientist. But I don't know, I didn't hear of Dr. Rakesh Nair as a NEET PG or SS teachers. Any of you all? Yeah. So he took up that as a, so offbeat nephrology careers remain. Raj Mando, those who are from Gujarat will know, that was in Claris, then Intas, and he's pursued a pharmaceutical career. Jayant Matthew, I think a lot of people from South would know, was in one of Laranon for 3 years till COVID came, and then we all know Dr. Ashish Sharma was in Fresenius. So people have pursued pharmaceutical career. And social media influencer, we have our own Arvind Kanchi, but he does it for fun and for passion. But here is Dr. Siddharth Warrior, and I'm not trying to promote him because he's my son-in-law, but he's actually doing 2 days a week neurology practice, and 4 days in a week he's earning from social media. And the reason he feels is it's ultimately extension of our OPD patient education and public awareness begins with social media. So this is one line which people can follow, and if you reach influencers level which is beyond 2-3 lakhs followers, you can earn in 5 lakhs or so, and if you reach about 1 million, you can get 15 to 17 lakhs of income from social media. So basically to tell you, yeah. But then you might feel ke ye sab to abhi theek hai, they are all people who have, with a silver spoon, or they have some superior intellect or something. But I can tell you that ordinary people can also do the same thing. So why am I not moving? So let me tell you my story, and some of my Mumbaikar friends would have heard it because I have already taken this earlier. Now this talk is especially designed and addressed to the young nephrologists who are the brightest future of nephrology in the country. And reason why I'm bringing out this talk is because of the general milieu of cynicism and negativity which is pervading. And I hope my talk will instill some hope, confidence and pride in their minds, helping them to happily navigate the path which is chosen by them. This will also give them confidence that you don't need to be in a big hospital, need not have a big work like that, nor do you need a godfather, and you can still make a difference. MD medicine in KEM, but there the rule was if you happen to be a first ranker in MD medicine, you would necessarily go to Madam Acharya's unit, and therefore once you reach Madam Acharya's unit, the entire cosmos will conspire to make you a nephrologist. You can't escape. And of course the usual journey, mundane life of a resident medicine, nephrology exams, but we learned many other skills. Alan was my boss, and of course she's my boss at home, so you learn many of the other things as a resident. And Madam Acharya never had the experience of marriage, but yet she encouraged research even in subjects in which she had no experience, helped us in getting married. Anyway, real life began in 1985 when I was done with my marriage and DNB in that order of importance. And after 2 more years of lecturership, which we used to call them at that time as lecturership, and now it's called, I think, assistant professor, I was ready to start private practice. I had huge love for academics and would not want to leave KM hospital or, academics and go into private practice. But then you need to sustain your family. With that meager pay of 7,000 rupees, it was difficult to continue as lecturer's post. Anyway, in 87, armed with my DNB, 5 years of nephrology experience, I was on the top of the world. I was the only doctor in the house, the only nephrologist in western suburbs, and only the 6th DNB qualified nephrologist in Bombay. I set out to start my private practice with huge dreams, no resources, no foreign experience, no fellowship, no godfather, no corporate hospital attachment, no teaching hospital attachment, no doctor or businessman in the family, which is such a familiar situation which will be faced by many youngsters who would try to start their practice today. But I naively believed that private practice would be a cakewalk, and I was super qualified and that hospitals and patients were waiting for me. But I was in for a rude shock. In 87, there were 5 big corporate hospitals in Mumbai, and all of them were with such senior giants in nephrology. There was no place for me in those corporate hospitals, and Borivali, where I lived, was a very distant suburb which had no hospital, leave alone having a dialysis unit. So I joined the ranks of the educated unemployed, which is quite a common scenario among the young early career nephrologists, even today, more so during our time. But surviving as a practicing nephrologist was, Vineet, Dr. Arpita is trying to contact us, was as difficult during my time as it is today. I was heartbroken, available roads were all closed. But then necessity is the mother of invention, so I thought we'll take the road less traveled, albeit with a silver lining. So the solution was, in our suburb, there was no dialysis unit. I was supposed to start a dialysis unit, which was easier said than done. A dialysis unit during those days was a critical care area and was a prerogative of a tertiary hospital. No small nursing home was not allowed or was not thought that they could start a dialysis unit. So the biggest challenge was to bring nephrology practice, especially dialysis, out of the cocoon of tertiary hospital, convince patients to get treated in a small suburb. Suddenly I struck gold. So this was the tempo, similar tempo. I was sitting by the side of the driver, and somebody told me that there are 2 old dilapidated dialysis machines from Belgium, which I picked it up along with another person and put it up in this tempo and came back to my Borivali area. There used to be Mazda Medical in Western India who could repair this. I'm just telling all this because storytelling is jara fun hota hai iske liye. May 87 we put up these first 2 bedded dialysis unit, and by the end of the year we had 4 small hospitals willing to experiment with this, small setups in Bombay. Of course, by then I was unstoppable. There was a junoon which was of setting up HD units all over the city of Mumbai. And from a tentative start of experimenting with the small HD unit, we went on the HD unit building spree, and by 92 we had built around 16 dialysis units from 5-bedded to 36-bedded, and nephrology had arrived in our suburbs. So from a community nephrology, we graduated to become community dialysis unit centers, which was again a concept not existing at that time. From 100 dialysis a month, we went on to do 8,000 sessions a month. So the growth was crazy and we were overwhelmed. And then we sat down and realized that the scaling of renal replacement therapy requires 3 pillars: quality, cost, and availability. So availability we could build by making community centers. Cost was managed because we built charitable dialysis centers with the help of philanthropists, and quality we did by starting a dialysis training program at that time. So we experimented with 3 new concepts which during my time, I'm talking of 85, 87, concept of freestanding units, concept of charitable dialysis centers, and then the concept of nephrology-owned dialysis center, which made nephrologists as entrepreneurs. So this is the birth of a standalone unit, and of course this charitable unit was considered by everybody as a very foolish step, but during that time the patients could hardly afford dialysis. And if you remember the nephrology forum of Dr. Vijay Kher, in which he mentioned less than 1% penetration of dialysis in India at that time, and today we all know the penetration of dialysis is so much more common. So then I worked on the birth of a nephrologist's own dialysis unit, and my own dialysis setup was in Borivali, which from 2-bedded became now a 36-bedded dialysis unit. There was a new concept which again in Mumbai was not there, so we set up along with a partnership. We are going to talk on group practice. With a urologist, we started a nephro-uro nursing home. It was not much, it's about 20-25 bedded, but it started the concept of a nephro-uro hospital. I thought you could never write a paper, but eventually as a solo practitioner also I did write a seminal paper which was quoted till a long time on economics. Now of course the economics is very old and ancient. And then was the birth of a new dawn. Somebody will have to tell me the times. This is a story, so story can go on endlessly. 140, Abhi. Yeah, so we have 10-15 minutes. Somebody can ring the bell. Huh? And then we started Mumbai Kidney Foundation, which did a lot of patient awareness activities. We joined hands with other NGOs, started the transplant, organ donation theme and organ donation awareness. We had the use of glamour quotient for it. In IIT, we did a salt satyagraha. People are here in the audience who are part of it. We did many other activities for the patient, and then you all are all familiar that Mumbai Kidney Foundation brings out this nephrologist directory every year, except for the last 2-3 years when COVID, it was not brought out. I am yet to bring the 2nd edition of it, but there was a All India Directory of Dialysis Centers also, which was produced by Mumbai Kidney Foundation. Shifting gears, we then started the teaching activity, MKF Academy, which is a game changer, and which is why all of us are here today as a part of MKF Academy. Now this was with the help of a phenomenally talented bunch of young nephrologists who helped me in visualizing, envisaging, and then setting up of these, and some of them are in the audience here. The stalwarts of this conference, although people feel it is by the MKF Academy, but these 4 stalwarts are there sitting in the audience who have actually brought this conference together. And can I make them stand up? Vineet, Jitu, Ayan, Nikhil. So these are people behind the scene who have actually brought out today's this. So we set up the teaching unit of MKF Academy for the dialysis technicians, for dietitians, for general practitioners, for the physicians, and then for the nephrology fellows. We did some of these conferences which you are probably aware of it. Along with Kashi and Girish Narayan, we made a textbook, a handbook of dialysis technology. This is already being translated in Hindi and Marathi, and then eventually probably in 1 or 2 South Indian languages if possible. Rajesh is with me and his technician Sudhir Bagarao. With that, we had dialysis technician training programs all across Mumbai. But the jewel in our crown was the partnership with International Society of Nephrology. And they asked Mumbai Kidney Foundation to do the PCP, Primary Care Physician Training Program, and invited us to do it. So this is now, we have modules, 26, 27 modules on the platform of International Society of Nephrology for the primary care physicians. It's called Nephrology for the Non-Nephrologists. And Ajay was one of the course directors. He's around. It was in the memory of Dr. Vidya Acharya. For the nephrology fellows, we have this mock exams, and we have a WhatsApp teaching group like Delhiites have case presentation. Mumbai Kidney Foundation does it for the Mumbaikars. The last mock exam was in Chennai. Some of the teachers here did participate in it. And for the practicing nephrologists, we do a conference in Goa called the Nephrology Conclave, which is different. It is thoda hatke conference, more on the stressing on the practical issues of it. And then with the help of Indian Society of Nephrology, Dr. Bansal formed this Young Nephrology Forum, in which they made me a mentor. Hopefully we'll work, for along with the other young nephrologists, various other programs can be made. There is this Mumbai Mein, an association of medical consultants of 15,000. I became a secretary of that. Of course, Mumbai Nephrology gave me the privilege of becoming the secretary of Mumbai Nephrology Group, during which tenure we did ISHD conference, then we did the ISN Con, we did the Avatar, we did we started the first Nephro Twitter in the conference, and which was in Goa. The first time it was started when we were the organizing chairman. So all in all, and of course this time's semi-week was in Mumbai during our chairmanship. So all in all, being in Mumbai with the help of many of our young colleagues, we were able to do there. And then I think I started this concept of group practice with the help of my fellow colleagues, which gives that they give me time to do many of these activities. And we will have a full talk on why should we do group practice. And by now I think many of the students know that we are shifting gears and starting a mentorship program. And this mentorship program, Dr. Ayande will spell it out as to what we are going to do. But one of the main things we did in the mentorship program was to make these modules. And I think we have about 17, 18 modules already on various topics of interest, which are not taught in our medical college. And some of these are being discussed this time. So to summarize my talk, and this is the musings of a rapidly aging nephrologist. Students, this is for you. Dream big and be passionate about it. It is like falling in love. Not all your dreams will succeed. Nevertheless, you must dream. And if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. Don't fear experimenting with brash and disruptive new ideas. But remember, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. So don't get disappointed if the results are negative. And don't hesitate to take the road less traveled. And if there is no road, become a trailblazer. Make a road. People will follow you. Cover yourself medically very well. Ensure a huge indemnity insurance. Learn to keep your documentation very strong. And then practice with full conviction what is called sensible medicine. In private practice, walk very gingerly and definitely not with an academic halo around you. Private practice can be a great leveler. And there is lots to learn, but much to unlearn from seniors. Both can be very respectfully done. Don't settle for average, but don't allow perfect to come in the way of good enough. We were never perfect in all the things which we did. But lift your game if it has value proposition. I know that transplant is the most glamorous and the most sought after dream of any nephrologist, but it is not the be all and end all of nephrology practice. Don't fret and fume if you have not reached there. Apna time bhi aayega. Dialysis is what will define you as a nephrologist in the eyes of a general practitioner and a common man. So invest a lot of your time and energy in your dialysis unit with your technicians and your dialysis patients. The plain vanilla community nephrology practice is your bread and butter. Savor it, even if the thrill is in critical care and transplant. Join an NGO or start one. Investing time in such activities has dividends beyond the obvious. Teach and you will learn a lot. Be the mentor that you wish your boss should have been. And surround yourself with young, enthusiastic people, which I do. So to conclude, I leave you with a Japanese toolkit as a life hack. Ikigai. Find your purpose and passion. Kaizen. Make small and continuous improvements every day. Wabi sabi, and this is my forte, acceptance of imperfections in life. Shinji Tai, you must have a sound body. That means exercise, yoga, mind, emotions, what. Shuhari is a very typical Japanese term. That means in the first 25 years, you imitate all their seniors. Then you assimilate all that in the next 25 years. But your last 25 years should be innovative, should be what you are, what defines me, you, what your dreams are, and so on. Horenso is now, I think, taught to all the residents, communicate, document, report, etc. But don't forget Omoyari, that is embed compassion in life and work and give without expecting. Each one of us can be a leader. You don't need a post. This is your time in nephrology. Don't waste it leading someone else's life. Remember, these are very exciting times in nephrology, so you must seize the initiative. Go for the jugular, not only for the dialysis catheter. Avoid cynics. Look for a mentor. There are enough cynics in this world. Many of us will be happy to mentor you if you so desire, and some of them are sitting in this audience. Take like-minded people along. It is amazing how much can be achieved if you don't care who gets the